episode 4007, Happy Habits at Home.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day and happy spring. Can you believe it? It's official. It's on the calendar. That means the weather's got to follow, right? Come on, tell all the meteorologists. But seriously, it's Confession of an Upset Mama. Oh, let's be happy today. Happy habits at home. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter. They keep it simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, inspiring connection and community. We'll take a deep breath because yes, with spring should be bringing you some joy, maybe some happiness. Maybe you're just a little bit giddy. You're going, maybe I can get out and start planting some flowers. Maybe I'll do a whole video and series on planting and how it works and, metaphors and all of this. Okay, maybe too much. We'll just see what tickles my fancy. But it's something that it's just like, there's refreshment, right? There's newness. It's a new season. And I think that gives us a chance to say, you know what? We can make this time different. And I thought, there's no better time than talking about habits. Seriously. Because we got a lot of bad ones out there, don't we? We do. And I'm not here to sit here and pick on you, but it is confession day, so I want you to be honest with yourself. I want you to look at how your family structure is. Because here's the deal. Who are you inviting to the table? Who are you opening the door to? Happiness isn't an accidental guest. It's cultivated with intention, especially within the walls of your home. So who are you inviting in, right? Are you inviting in the fussiness, the little bears, the ones that are complaining all the time, the temper tantrums? Like, what does it look like in your family? The way your family interacts daily shapes the environment where joy either flourishes or fades. You get to decide how delightful and encouraging your home is. So if you want a true sanctuary of happiness, it's time to build happy habits at home. It really is. And these are the habits that anchor your family in connection, contentment, and trust. It builds out your everyday, your living legacy. A lot of times we're thinking legacy is, when I'm long gone. No. It's when you're long here, right now. Create your now. Now, you might be wondering if that's even possible. Can I really even have happy habits? Can I build this environment, have a landscape that is like wonderful? Because maybe you've grown up around yelling and defiance during your childhood, but that doesn't mean you have to carry it into your family. You get to decide. So let's get real. Yelling or arguing, honestly, might feel like the easier path, especially in the heat of the moment. It releases that energy, right? That overload. It allows that blood pressure that when you're like ramping up because just something underneath you is not right, you just aim and you blow like a dragon. Yeah, not always a good idea. But you say, well, it's fast and raw. I feel better. And it gives me an immediate outlet for frustration. Yeah. But then how many people is it burning down in its path? Those reactions don't build a happy home. They chip away at trust. It increases tension, and it sets your family up for constant battles that drains everyone's energy and joy. It's no wonder no one wants to be around the house. No one's coming over because it's lacking smiles and happiness. There's too much stress. People can feel it. It's this energy when you walk into your home. It's no longer a sanctuary. You don't feel at peace. Is that something that you would like to have in your home? Or maybe you want to do a few things differently? And it doesn't matter what your kids' ages are. I don't care if they're little itty bitties or all the way up and you're talking grandbabies now and everything in between. Maybe you've got great grandchildren. That's awesome. Praise the Lord. Be excited about that. But it doesn't matter where you are on that spectrum, right? You want to have a happy home. So really, why should you choose happy habits? Because what seems easier in the short term, right, we know is a slow burn of emotional damage in the long term. That dragon effect of burning everybody who comes in front of us because that's just how we want to release ourselves. How does that help anything? It doesn't. I mean, do you really want your children to have to go through therapy literally their entire life because of how you have created your environment? Now, I will say this. Maybe you started out that way and you're like, Christiane, I'm noticing this about me and I want to change it. Okay, you can change it. They may be in therapy only for a couple years. That's fabulous. We all need a therapist and a good coach. I'm just saying, we do in our life. We need someone that will speak truth into us, that will see things that we don't see. And so maybe today is not about, gosh, I thought I was doing better, but now I'm feeling bad. No, it's about being honest with yourself. We can always be a better parent. No parent is perfect. No parent, not even me. I have not arrived and I never will. And I don't use that word never very often. We can always be a better parent. We can always make better decisions because we're always learning. We're always growing. So when you have happy habits, right, they create this sense of safety and respect within your household. It becomes this predictable rhythm in which everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. You're worthy and your family is worthy. And when your family knows that you're investing in connection, relationship, even tough conversations happen with kindness and cooperation, not hostility. You don't have to be arguing all the time to get your point across. You can still be kind and get your point across. That doesn't mean you're going to agree. That doesn't mean that if you have a happy household that you're not ever going to have arguments or you're never going to disagree. No, that's not the case either. You're going to have all the above. But if you were to rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10, and honestly, most of us aren't going to hit 10, where would you be on that? 10 being, oh yeah, we're doing awesome. And maybe today it was an awesome day. Great, rate yourself a 10. But every single day it's going to change. It's going to go up and down, right? It's called the roller coaster of life. The temperature gauge of happiness is going to change. What is it in your household now? Because let's go back to yelling for a minute. If you're yelling all the time, or for the most part, I should say, it might release some steam for a second, right? But it doesn't teach your kids how to manage emotions or solve problems. But happy habits do. Happy habits model patience and empathy and constructive communication. Wow. Wouldn't that be nice if we could have that in our world today? I'm just saying. You're not just aiming for peace in the moment. You're setting your family up to handle conflict with grace, resilience, and love for years to come within the family and for years to come after they move out and further on when they impact the world that they touch. The path of least resistance is often a dead end. Building happy habits is the bold strategic move that turns your home into a place where everyone thrives rather than just survives. The choice isn't easy. It's not. But I want to remind you it's worth it. It's worth the choice to say, I'm going to get up on the other side of the bed today. I'm going to feel good, even though I'm not doing great in some areas. But I'm going to choose to put a smile on my face. I'm going to choose to see the goodness in people. I'm going to be kind to people. But here, let me say this too. Happiness habits don't mean forcing smiles or glossing over struggles, right? Because you're going to have struggles. And your struggles you're not going to want to smile at, right? And that's okay. So you don't have to force them, but you still can have a smile. Or at least take a deep breath and say, you know what, I'm just having a day. And that's okay because you can say it with honesty. And you're not trying to be someone you're not. And you're not trying to create something, masquerading something that can't get better. In fact, it may only get worse because you're always trying to cover up. Happiness habits means setting up routines and having a mindset that encourages respect, appreciation, and open communication. And the key to all of it is consistency. And when simple positive actions become familiar rituals, routines, they turn into emotional glue that holds the family together even when times get tough. Think about a time that was really rough on your family. Hopefully, you were able to make it to the other side. If you have happy habits, it may not be easy to get to the other side, but maybe you can smile more by the time you get to the other side. And so what does this look like actually in real life when it comes to, how happiness habits show up? Maybe it's just being grateful. Telling your kiddos, wow, I just love your smile. You just make me so happy. Now, okay, you got to be careful with that one, but you can say that. And maybe you refer to it as, you make me so happy when you are being you. I love to see it. I love your confidence. That's building people up, right? That's being grateful for what's going on in your life. And so maybe you need to have more of that gratitude time, right? Or maybe you have it now. What does it look like in your home now? This is kind of a check-in time. What about unplugged time together? That's another great way to sit there and say, you know what, we're just gonna have some time together. You might do that now. Maybe it's dinner time for you. Maybe it's actually going from one activity to the next. I get it. Maybe it's having a night out at the movies, but that night out at the movies is actually a stay-at-home night at the movies, and that's okay too. What is it? It's being able to play and talk and just be present with each other. Maybe it's reading the Bible. Maybe it's going to church and singing songs. Maybe it's volunteering for the community. What is that? Maybe you celebrate small wins right now. You making it a tradition to recognize, people within your household or even your extended family on their accomplishments, no matter how small. So go back to when your children were itty bitty, even if they're gone now. Remember the toddler years when you had to go through potty training? Oh, yeah. Oh, remember those days? Yeah, already you're kind of like, I got PTSD from that. Yeah, some of us do. And maybe depending upon the child, maybe one child was easier than the other. And so maybe you don't have as much like, I wish I could have been like Sue instead of like Bob, or vice versa, right? And then you just kind of giggle. You're like, oh yeah. And then came along Jill. And then you're like, it had to be the third one. Yes, right? But celebrate the small wins. And that's what you do when you're potty training. It's like, oh, you went to the bathroom in the potty, woohoo! And you get the star, or they get to throw something in the toilet, or they get to flush the toilet, whatever it is now. I have no idea. Maybe they get iPad time now. I have no idea. But however you're celebrating nowadays, because times have changed. I was really good with just a sticker. And then they would get sometimes, money to go, and they would get to go shopping something or get something, They would earn their bucks, so to speak. What is it? It's those small wins, and they add up to big things, and it boosts the confidence, not just even to your kids, but to you too. Because you're like, yes, this mama's doing something right. She went to the potty. Yay! Wait till they get old enough and they walk across the stage and graduate with their bachelor's degree or their doctorate degree. Wait till they decide to go and volunteer at the community, and then they notice that something's not right. So they go and start standing up, and they go in to make some change to legislation. Maybe they go and they volunteer every single weekend at a soup kitchen because they're kind and they care about others. Those are things to celebrate. That's what you're creating with happy habits. So if you want to have the most impact on your family, take time to anchor your happy habits. That is your kiss to keep it simple strategy. A lot of us think we have happy habits, and I think we do, honestly. We do. But we don't look at them as such. Because, here we go again. If I'm just going to it's confession day, right? So I'm going to be real with you and raw. We think of habits as scheduling things or, like a calendar, being on time, or I've got to work out, or I want to eat a certain way, right? The word habit comes to different things, but habits are connected to routines. And so it's important to understand that you've got habits that are routines, that create rituals, right? They're all connected together. Doesn't matter what word you want to slap on it. But what it means is that you're consistently repeating it over and over and over again, which builds a rhythm in your heart. And that's why you want to anchor your happy habits, specifically in the heart. So how can you do that? Because honestly, I think you're doing it already. You just may not know you have happy habits, and you want those to shine brighter than the, right? You don't want to open up the door to fussiness or temper tantrums. And I'm not talking just about kids' temper tantrums, by the way. I'm talking about adult temper tantrums. You may have an empty nest right now, and it's you and your sweetheart. And you're like, this is my time to own my space. And so you have your own temper tantrums. Let's not go there. It's easy to do it though, right? So let's anchor our happy habits. Let's identify them and see what it looks like. And in doing this, one way to do it is really kind of set a clear schedule. Like, where do the happy habits show up? Where do you want to be intentional with it? Maybe it's during dinner time, right? With the gratitude. Maybe it's your bedtime routine, okay? Whether it's your own personal one where you and your spouse are headed to bed and maybe you do a devotional together or you pray together. Maybe it's with your kids when you're reading them a book. It could even be sending them a text if they're older and say, I just wanted you to know I love you and I'm thinking of you. Set that clear schedule. And then be consistent about it. And those habits, I promise, will stick with you as you anchor them every single day, right? Consistency builds the habit. And then number 2, lead by example. Do you remember back in the day, and maybe I'm just dating myself, but you would have family meetings? Do you have family meetings now? I still call family meetings. But it's kind of fun. It's like family meetings, but it's all on text because everybody's spread across the world. And so we kind of laugh about it now, or we'll all get on, Zoom or something like that and communicate that way. Anyway, it's funny. We just kind of laugh about it, but you're not going to call a family meeting and say, okay, now kids, it's time that we think about our happy habits. And today we're going to act like this. And this is how we're going to do it every single day. They're going to roll their eyes at you. I would roll my eyes at you. Are you kidding me? No one wants to be told to be happy because honestly, you're going to sit there and say, well, now I don't really feel happy. I was happy till you told me I had to be happy. Isn't that kind of funny how that works? So what do? You lead by example, right? Let the family follow you. Let them mimic you. So you better be on your up and up. And that's why it's hard because it's not easy. When you've had a long day and you only get 4.5 hours of sleep, you got to get up in the morning and you got to put your happiness on. And you got to be willing to smile. You got to be willing to say, you know what? God's got this. I didn't get enough sleep, but that's okay. I needed to be here at this time. That's all right. I'm going to make it through the morning. It's going to be a little bit crazy and we'll be okay. I'm going to pack my patience extra today. And when your kids and your family, when they see you in that kind of engagement in their everyday, they're going to pay attention and it's going to become sticky to them. When something's sticky, oh, you're attracted to it, right? Sugar is so sweet. That's why you want to be sticky with your happy habits. So they just want to stick to you. So lead by example, because then they're going to repeat what they see. They're going to repeat what they hear. So if you don't like that yelling and screaming and, oh, this is how you're supposed to be when you were growing up and da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I know. You're already throwing yourself into that mode of, I remember when. You get to change that now for your family. You don't have to carry it on just because it happened to you. Make the change. And then finally, number 3, create visual reminders. I love this one. Maybe you have a family journal. You're like, what? Well, we've heard about having our own journals, but what if you had a family journal? Especially if you get little ones that are just now learning to write, you can have them draw. But you can have a family journal where everybody gets to write a little note. Now, you can do the joy jar. I'm all for the joy jar. I love my joy jars. They're fabulous. They're wonderful. You can have people write on the little, index card or whatever, put it in there, and you can empty them out. Those are fun. But I also like the family journal because it has a different meaning, and you can do one every year, and you can collect those, and then later on, as time goes on, or as the kids get older, one's going to get married, or one's going to go off and be deployed for a year and a half somewhere. Like, you have something and say, look, I just want you to have this because I want you to remember that your family loves you. And those are nice things to have. Because when I think about my dad, we lost him way too early, in my opinion, but God knows best, and I'll leave it at that. He passed away at the age of 65 from a massive heart attack while driving. And the positive thing is that my father was able to know all of my children. And my children remember their papa. And I love that. Because I'm brokenhearted, yes, I still miss him. But they still know who their papa was. Now, I'm sad because my grandchildren, his great-grandchildren, they'll never get to see him, meet him, hear his voice. How amazing would it be to have something in writing that your kids can hold on to, and then they can pass it down. And if you're no longer, because eventually that happens, I'm sorry, it just does. But the reality is it does happen. They can sit there and say, this is what my mom, your grandma, wrote, or this is what your great grandma did for us. If you're kind of as crazy as I am, start a podcast. I'm just saying. And you can do a family podcast. You don't even have to put it out there in the real world. I don't think my kids will ever listen to all of my episodes. We're way over 4,000 episodes. Let me tell you, they'll know the voice. They'll be able to hear it again. Sometimes they'll probably turn it on and be like, oh, that was definitely mom. And they'll be like, oh, that's why we just had to walk out of the house that day. She told us a secret. Whatever it is. But create the family journal. Have the joy jar. Maybe even do notes on the fridge. I love this. My son's girlfriend got a notepad. And so on our refrigerator, there's this notepad, and I think it actually has a sloth on it. It's adorable. And what happens is they leave notes. We leave notes for each other. It's not just for my son and his girlfriend. Like, she leaves notes for us, and we leave notes for her. And it's great. And then when other family members come to visit, they leave notes. And it's just wonderful because you never know if you're going to find a note. Oh, this is for me. And you can take that note. That's a great thing to have on a fridge. And then the other thing I want to also remind you of when it talks about creating visual reminders, maybe you need to do something more unique for each child and even for yourself or for the family. Maybe you need to have, a saying or something that allows you to express what you're wanting to convey, but without having to say it all the time. So maybe you have it in the bathroom or the laundry room. For us, we have a picture here in our kitchen, and I love it because it talks about our family. And it says, our family is a circle of strength and love, founded on faith, joined in love, kept by God, forever together. It truly says what family is. And it's a reminder that, okay, as they walk up the stairs, maybe you didn't like what mama said, but guess what? She still loves you. We're together forever. Nothing's going to separate us. And there's something about that. Our roots grow deep. What are you planting in the soil for your children, for your family, when it comes to happy habits? You don't need to be fussy all the time. You get to choose which side of the bed you get up on. Building happy habits in your home is a commitment, right? To your family, to growth, and to a better way of living together. It won't always be, smooth or effortless. I know it won't, but every small step forward rewrites your family story into one of connection and joy and love. Remember, you don't have to be perfect, just present. Each intentional habit you create plants a seed for a living legacy of everyday happiness. Go in peace, be present, be incredible, be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed weekend. And happy spring. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.